So, in this web series, Agents of Change, I speak with Bahamians, friends of the Bahamas, visitors, honorary Bahamians, and just every and anyone who has a story to tell, people who are making a difference and who are truly agents of change. And today, I would like for you to meet Andrea Cecchi. Hi.
Hi.
Come stai?
Benissimo, grazie Shani.
He is from Florence, Italy, and his family, but more importantly for this episode is he is somebody who's for more than 20 years has been an agent of change here in the Bahamas. And here's what he does. Each year he comes to the Bahamas with his family, he invites friends, and he's become almost an ambassador in Italy for the Bahamas, promoting the Bahamas in terms of investments and business, and certainly doing his fair share to bring visitors to the island of Eleuthera each year, sometimes throughout the year. In fact, you visit Eleuthera twice a year as a fishing expedition, and then later on in the summer.
For my personal vacation in the summer.
What is the draw for Eleuthera for you, and then the fact that you've adopted it in this way?
Well, the first time I came to Eleuthera, I didn't know anything about the family islands, and I didn't know about their potential and their beauty. Then one of my wife's neighbor, he took me fishing, and the moment I put on my goggles and I put the head underneath the water, I saw that the marvelous creatures of the ocean, and for me it was like an epiphany. It was discovering another dimension. I fell in love with this pristine nature, and I saw so much potential in it. And at that time, it was the end 1999, I think. And there wasn't much going on in South Eleuthera, and I felt so bad about it because I saw people struggling, and I saw that there wasn't so much opportunities for the locals. So I said, why don't I introduce this place also to my friends back home in Italy? Maybe some tourists can help bring up a little bit of prosperity to this part of the world. And I started to mostly connect with the forums of fishing channels, several fishing channels in Italy. I started my YouTube channels where I post the video of myself doing what I do in the Bahamas.
In fact, he's become so popular that when Italians, and this is how a number of them now visit Eleuthera, when they put in a Google search and they put in fishing expeditions, fishing in the Bahamas, you come up.
It's true, because also I was on a few articles on official magazines, and the Bahamas was completely neglected from Italian travel agency, and from it completely was out of the map. So I can personally have the honor to admit that I was the one who put it back on the maps for Italy. Now it's picking up a lot more also by itself, but at least back then, if you really wanted to have information about fishing in the Bahamas, people would contact me because there was the first Google search that would come up, and so I'm quite happy about this and quite proud.
Yeah, and of course he's being a little modest. I mean, anywhere he goes in Eleuthera and visitors spot him, they're like, you the guy. Of course they spot him like on a kayak or with a fishing line, but they often tell him, you're the guy, yeah, you're the one who promotes fishing in the Bahamas, you're the one. We came because we saw your videos, or we saw your, in a Google search, your name came up and you highly recommended it. And that is just really awesome.
Yeah, I'm quite, my trademark is quite easy to recognize because I fish on a yellow kayak and that I pull with my bicycle, so it's totally an eco-friendly way of a lifestyle. And then I do fitness, so I also have a fit body that people immediately can relate it to myself and make me easy to recognize.
Yeah, he's quite fit, you all. Let me tell you, I'll insert some photos for you to see his body, a great body. But you also are looking to expand the tourism aspect in terms of education to hopefully have an exchange between Italian institutions that Bahamians can access and have a talk just a little bit about that. Yeah.
Just not to get this thing too long, but we're in contact with the University of Geology in Italy. And the professor told us how interested he is into studying the rocks of the Bahamas, because that's where it all originates. It's incredible. I don't know if any Bahamians are know about this, but when the calcium carbonate forms at its primeval stage, it forms here in the Bahamas. It's just a tiny rock that it gets synthesized in the water and it drops and it forms a primeval sand. Then throughout the millennia, this sand compacts and it forms the high mountains that we also have in Italy. So for geologists, this is an immensely important thing that they have to study and research. So I took a handful of this, sent to the professor, and he uses to test the students. He explains these things, and so we are really interested in to bring in some Italian students over here to study all this process. Also, some processes that happen in the marshes and in the creeks, which is very important for animal development. And also to get Bahamian students possibly to go in an exchange program to Italy to see what it becomes of their sand, thousands of years after. It will be a very, very interesting thing to study. And then we don't know much about our past. The only things that we can study is the rocks, because after the ice ages and the floods, all the memory that we have of our past is in the rocks, so it's important to study them and understand them.
What is your dream for Eleuthera eventually to see happen in the medium term and the long term?
Well, that's a difficult question, but the dream for everybody should be to achieve prosperity, happiness, and pleasant way of lifestyle for everybody.
Yeah. What word defines you?
I don't know. Can you ask me the next question?
If you can think of one word that would just sum you up, what would that be?
Super.
Super. Yeah. And as we wrap this up, let's just talk about, just give Bahamians, I guess, just a bit of advice, very, very briefly, of the reason to get healthy and to be fit.
Sure. This is very important. Because as the Greeks said, mens sana in corpore sano, you cannot have a healthy mind unless your body is healthy as well. So just start doing something. Every journey starts with a step. So even though you think I'm not gonna make it, it's so hard, just start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. Just maybe start walking, start picking up fitness, whatever, and follow the advice of people that know, because you can't do it on your own. Everybody needs somebody to explain stuff when you don't know for yourself. So just get a trainer or get expert advice and stick to it.
Absolutely, and the only diet that works is the one you stick to.
It's true.
Absolutely, a fitness plan,
all
anything.
diets work. There's not one that works and one
exactly.
that don't.
You just have to be committed to it. But thank you so much for being an agent of change.
You're welcome.
Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you, Shani.
Okay.